Morning people, it's Sunday morning and we're going to start getting the pork in the oven. I'll show you a nice easy way to get crispy crackling, and all you need is your pork with plenty of skin on it. This is the joint of pork leg. I've got some herbs, sage, rosemary, salt and pepper, bit of vegetable oil. Don't use olive oil. What's the use of spending good money on olive oil when you're not going to taste it anyway? And then I've got the old trivet of vegetables. Now this is this celeriac, some leek trimmings, a red onion, carrot. Some of it's frozen, some of it's not. When I'm doing prepping veg during the week, any of the trimmings I put into a bag and put it in the freezer. And this is what I use for a trivet. I've got a bit of turnip there, just the trimmings, but it's all flavour. It's all flavour. That's the main thing. So your first thing you do, 10 minutes before you want to put the pork in the oven, you want to literally pour a kettle's worth of freshly boiled, red hot boiling water over your joint of pork. 10 minutes before you need to put it in the oven. So I'll get some boiling water. I don't actually have a kettle, I have a little boiler. So I'll fill a jug with boiling water and we'll pour it over the pork. Right, there's a jug full of boiling water straight out the boiler. So we'll literally just pour it slowly over the joint of pork. Make sure you get all the skin. Now what this does is it tightens up the skin and it dries it out. I know it's counterintuitive, isn't it? Drying skin with water, but what this does, it will heat it up. Now we'll come back to this. We're just going to leave it in the sink for 10 minutes. We're not going to touch it, just leave it in the sink 10 minutes. We'll come back to it and we'll have a look, see how dry the skin is, and then we're going to put salt and pepper, some oil on it, put it in the oven on the trivet, and that gives you the fantastic gravy as well. Come back in 10 minutes. Right, 10 minutes later, can you see how dry that is? I'll get my bit of kitchen paper, I'll put it on the pork, lift it off, not a bit of moisture on there. And that's how you want your pork skin before you put it in the oven. All you need to do now is put some oil on it, so I'll take it out. It goes onto my trivet. And then a bit of oil, and you want to rub that oil all over because we've got rid of the moisture. So what we're going to do, we're going to use the oil as the moisture, and that will make it really crispy. And then some salt, a little bit of black pepper, and then we're going to rub that in as well. And it all into the cracks, the slashes. Don't forget the end of the meat, that's where the flavour will come. And there we go. So that is ready for the oven. All I need to do is put the half a jug full of water in the bottom of the tray, and that'll do for the gravy. And that's it. Now it's in the tray. I've put the sage, some rosemary and 3 bay leaves around the meat. That'll flavour the juices, so when we're basting that will help flavour the meat. And it's ready for the oven. Cheers. Right, your pork needs to be in the oven for, I would say, 3 hours. Every half an hour take it out, baste it with some of the juices from the bottom of the tray, There'll be quite a few juices because there's half a jug of water in there, but just use that, baste it every half an hour. Just remember, the rule is, if you've cooked it for 3 hours, 1/3 of that time it needs to rest. So for 1 hour, I know you don't, but for 1 hour, leave it on the bench, wrapped in tin foil. That'll keep the moisture in, it'll keep the heat in. And I promise you, your meat will be 100% better, more tender, more juicy, and it will cut sublimely, gorgeously. So remember, take it out after it's 3 hours roasting, put it on your bench, cover it in tin foil, forget about it for an hour. Then that frees up your oven for your roast potatoes, your Yorkshire puddings, or you could make a cake in there ready for your pudding. But just remember, let it rest for an hour. But it's 180 degrees centigrade for 3 hours. That's it. Hope you enjoy. Cheers. Make yourself a coffee, sit back, every half an hour, baste it. That's all you've got to do. The meat will just look after itself. Enjoy your coffee.
Grandad, didn't you want filming?
Right, that last section was me trying to show you how crispy and crackly the crackling was. And then the camera woman suddenly appears after I've been trying to do it all by myself. But that's what happens. But anyway, a dead easy recipe. Just crack on, you'll love it. The crackling is to die for. This is how crunchy it is. Go on, Elliot. Have another one. How good is it?
Really good.
Champion.
Heroes for ghosts, what else is for dreams?